Hi guys, Carol here from Child's Play ABA. A long time since I made a video, but probably more convenient to make this video rather than kind of doing it over and over again with some of my families who are mastering toilet training this week. Woohoo! So we want to be talking a little bit about the different prompts we can use in the bathroom and in particular for washing hands. So when we think of ABA, prompting is absolutely one of the top techniques that comes to mind for getting a new skill started for kids maybe who don't have that skill yet. And it's a totally fine technique to have. What I think sometimes people become a little bit more rigid in their ABA in particular is this kind of an idea of a prompt hierarchy. And again, you guys can Google it, you know the images. I've had this for years and I've used it for years, but the more I go towards those naturalistic techniques and really play-based, the more I realize this is not actually a helpful tool necessarily when you're live on the ground with a child. You really need to be more flexible, more fluent, more creative in the prompts that you're giving. And again, a quick Google here is going to show you what we're talking about when we say a prompt hierarchy. You know, you're going from full physical to a partial physical, maybe PPE, partial physical prompt at the elbow, versus the W, the wrist, okay? People who have worked with me before, you know I have actually prescribed those prompts. But as we learn, as we grow, we do get better and better. So hopefully the people coming after me won't make those kinds of mistakes. Who is to say, you know, we're talking about we're evidence-based practitioners. Where is the evidence? Where is the document that says, you know, that a visual is harder to fade or is easier to implement or is more successful at a particular task than a physical prompt or a model prompt? There is no literature out there. And if there's no literature, if there's no evidence, why are we still coming back to this type of a thing? Another thing as well to consider is that this is just not even remotely all of the different types of prompts that you could use. What about a proximity prompt? So putting the items that the child needs for the task closer to them when needed, or putting them farther and farther away as they get better at remembering which ones are needed. What about a stimulus prompt? So making some things like really loud or really bright or really colorful, whether that's your face, your lips, your tone of voice, whether that's like tracing outlines for handwriting. So fading your stimulus in and out depending on what's the challenge for the child. Probably the one that we use an awful lot without really ever noticing it. Now, in fairness, we are getting better at it, is the time delay. And we use that all the time in requesting, you know, this expectant look, giving the child a few seconds to respond and seeing if that is enough to elicit the behavior, that expectation. So prompting hierarchy, it's there, you know it, you know you've used it, but just prompt everybody or promote everybody to question, is it really evidence-based? Absolutely. If somebody can find some articles, that's great, that's brilliant. I'm all for helping everybody. And again, are you thinking really outside the box in terms of what's relevant, what's natural, what's a flexible prompting technique in this? Something that's really, really good in my house is Patty does kind of like silly things. Oh, this is blue, isn't it? That's a blue thing. Then everybody comes back and says, no, it's red, it's yellow. So even that can be a prompt, you know, silliness. I'm not sure how that's defined. And I suppose big shout out to maybe the SPABA people, because this talk was really kind of prompted as well by some of the work they were doing on storytelling as a recall or as a prompt for recall and telling stories. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about different types of prompts. The reason that I wanted to make this video in particular was to talk about hand washing, and probably the prompt that people think about the most often for hand washing is those visual schedules taped onto the back of everybody's tap. And if that works for you, great, I'm not taking away from it. I would just ask everybody to pause, reflect, and particularly in these kind of COVID times, you know the poster that's up there telling you how to wash your hands properly. How often do you refer to it and actually follow that as a prompt to properly wash your hands? Okay, if you're not using it, your kids are not using it. Okay, so let's get creative. Let's think about how we teach those skills to other children, and let's respect our kids enough to actually give them those same types of prompts. Favorite prompt ever is a song. All you preschool teachers out there, woohoo, thank you so much for my favorite song of the prompt. We have language, we have full physical prompting. You can use graduated guidance as your child gets better at it. You can point to the objects as they occur in the song. And there's kind of like as well, there's nearly a timer in there as well in terms of you're supposed to be washing your hands for the length of the song. Are you ready? My singing career didn't always take off, despite my efforts maybe sometimes throughout the years, but here goes. If it helps even one person, you know, this is great. Turn the water on, put some soap in my palm, It's no trouble making bubbles when I'm washing my hands. Wash your dirty hands. Wash your dirty hands. Front and back every finger when I'm washing my hands. So there's a little verbal prompt in there. Oh yeah, every finger. No more bubbles, bye bye. I'm rinsing water off, time to dry. It's no trouble making bubbles when I wash with my nice clean dry hands. Woo! So my poor attempt there at showing or promoting, always a naturalistic, always a developmentally appropriate, always a fun, always a child's play-based therapy, whether that is in actually your selection of targets or whether it's in the way that you teach. Really, really moving away from something rigid like a prompt hierarchy and prescribed prompts. Be present in the moment, appreciate how you learn skills. If you're not using the sign, your kids are not using the sign. Really making it fun, engaging, and acknowledging that they might not use language, but they might have it, and it might be easier to use language in a song as well, because there is kind of that natural cue or that introverbal cue or prompt even within the song. So as I say, my aim and my intention as always is just to share some of the stuff that I've learned throughout the years, and hopefully it just clicks for even just one person out there. So thank you very much, everybody, and hopefully see you again soon, because I can't forget to keep making these videos for you. Bye.